Are you sitting comfortably? Are you sitting comfortably? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin.
And now for something completely different.
What's happening, Dreamwalkers, Soul Carriers, Psychonauts? I hope you are well and good whenever now is this for you. It's currently morning of February 18th where I'm at after a few pretty intense days of snowstorms here in Canada. Been shoveling like a fiend. So I really wanted to talk about this dream I had a little earlier, but a few days of shoveling left me a little tired and low on energy. And actually this dream happened right after I posted my last session, and I think I was second guessing posting another update quite so quick, oversharing. But it's not like this is a huge syndicated network broadcast, so if I want to flood it and spam it, and so be it. It's probably more important I get these things out when they come instead of trying to, I don't know, space them for some arbitrary reason. So I wish I had talked about this a couple of days ago. I think it would lead a little more to my credibility, but I think if I was trying to prove anything here, I'm going about it all the wrong way and just really documenting for my own purposes and the interest of others who may be experiencing similar types of phenomena. So, yeah, get to the point, right? So, yeah, I had a plane crash dream a couple days ago. I did mention it to a few people that I know because I just wanted it at least on record of what had happened. It seemed like a really significant dream at the time. I woke up in when I have these really intense dreams that tend to be a precognitive dream, I tend to wake up, with a racing heart, soaked in sweat. Like, it has a very profound impact. Take notice of this sort of thing. So I did mention the dream to a few people because I was quite concerned that there was going to be a plane crash in the next 2 days or so. I even told a few people to watch the news cycle. Now, if you've been watching, there has been a lot of plane crashes in the news lately. Terrible things happening. Heart goes out to all the victims and families and loved ones who've lost souls recently in all these plane crash accidents. So it's may well possible that the dream I had was just an artifact from it being a regular thing in the news. At the time of the dream, I didn't recall ever having had a plane dream before, especially not a crashing in a plane dream before. So for that reason, I also found it fairly significant. So the dream fragment is fairly brief, but I remember being inside an airplane. It seemed like a small commuter jet. It wasn't like a giant 747 type of thing. It felt like there was probably, one seat on each side of the cabin sort of thing, mid-length or short style commuter plane. I was looking out the window, and then all of a sudden the ground just came rushing up towards the window, and it became clear that the plane was going to hit the ground, crash, and that's when I ejected from the dream. Assumption being that the plane was going to hit the ground and I would no longer be conscious. A few takeaways from that were I didn't actually remember hitting the ground, so while my feeling of impending death was there, it wasn't something that I saw. And the other sort of thought on that was sorry, just a bit of brain freeze here for a second.
I'm only sleeping.
Yeah, so I digress. The two thoughts on that. First, I didn't feel like, well, I felt like I was going to die. I didn't see that happen. We didn't hit the ground. But I also remember thinking it was from a low, like the ground wasn't really that far away when the plane started going straight into the ground. So in a mental image, the plane was nose straight down going into the ground. But if I was looking out the window, that's not really what I was seeing. And now when I see the actual crash, the plane was upside down. Apparently what happened, as much as I can gather, is as the plane was landing, high winds flipped it over. And that could seem a little more in line with what was happening in my dream, because I was seeing the ground out the window, and it was from a low point where this flip of direction occurred. So that could have been a situation where the plane is getting close, starting to land, and then the wind flipped it up and around. I will say I don't remember being upside down per se in the dream, but I remember being really askew and things kind of all about out of order. A couple other sort of notable, interesting things about this is I'm actually located quite close to where this plane crash was, and I would need to study the flight traffic, but depending on how the routes and the winds were working today, it's entirely possible that this plane actually went over my house on descent as it was attempting to land. I think that only really matters from the point of view that I'm trying to understand why I would have a dream of a plane crash that's somehow entangled with this particular crash, and maybe it was strictly a proximity thing, somehow quantum entangled with somebody who was literally just traveling over my head. But the thing that I found, where these synchronicities seem to abound in these kind of things, and it's kind of like, self-doubt is easy. Did I really have a precognitive dream? Did I see this? So it's almost like the universe wants to give you as many synchronicities and signs as possible to really drive home that this was a significant event. So where I feel like over the top about it is today, this afternoon, I was literally visualizing the plane crash dream, thinking, okay, it's been a couple of days. I haven't seen a new crash in the news. I haven't really been watching the news that closely. I think maybe I was a little bit afraid I would see a plane crash in the news. And I had started to discount it. I told myself that it wasn't anything significant. It was just an artifact from seeing plane crashes a few days prior to the dream. And it was a good example of an artifact dream, how the news cycle can get into your head. So as I'm thinking this, I kind of put it to bed. All right, plane dream was nothing. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, I go online, check the news, and breaking news, this plane crash has just happened. So this is today, this afternoon. So literally, I feel confident that I can say, while I was dismissing this dream that I had and putting it to bed, no pun intended, or was there, I don't know. But the plane that was about to crash in real life was literally traveling over my head or very near as I was dismissing the dream, and then subsequently crashing. That's just too much of a synchronicity or coincidence for me to dismiss. And I had all the tugs and pulls sort of drawing back to my dreams. So, I'm pretty prepared to file this under precognitive dream encounter situation phenomena. It's very strange. I don't know why I would have these kinds of dreams. Other than just to maybe show that it's possible. It's giving me really good examples of what can happen when you're working outside of time-space. I can't help but wonder how remote viewing might tie into some of this. And remote viewing is something that I've thought about looking into more, but I don't really know what it is that I want to look at. So it's almost like, for lack of having a target that I need to know about, I haven't really dug too much into it. But now it occurs to me that maybe these dream visions, precognitions, are almost like a uncontrolled, unintentional remote viewing session. So my brain is teaching me that this is something I could do. This is a skill I could have. The trick is quieting your mind and getting your brain into that alpha, theta state, or whatever it is that drives the remote viewing visionary state, being able to do it on demand, instead of in the dream state where you can have a little more control over it. You could probably do a lot more interesting things. I don't know what they are offhand, but it's plenty to think about. So yeah, like I said, it's a lot to expect other people to believe. I think if I was out to try and prove my experiences, I would need to go about recording and documenting them in a much more thorough way and real time and all scientific like. And I don't really think that's my aim. I think I'm just looking to get my own experiences out there, share them with other people who have similar experiences, and see how it makes sense in the greater picture, the greater gestalt, in the collective unconscious morphogenetic field, whatever space that we're all sharing and experiencing. There's a lot of crossover. So I have had some other dreams lately, but they've been pretty personal and not necessarily things that I'm looking to dig too deep into online just yet. I did have occasion to tell off somebody and really, really give her some long overdue truths that I just don't have the heart to do in real life. Maybe that's progress. That's something. The one dream, though, that I took away from this morning that kind of lingered a little bit, why it stuck was just how hyper realistic I could notice my dream was today. I seem to have full sensory expression. I was in the attic of a house, wintertime, and it was cold. Like I could feel the cold. I could feel the cold wooden boards and the drafts coming through the seals of around the bricks and the wood, and it was cold, wintry attic. I don't ever really remember feeling temperature like that in a dream before. So it's just sort of an added dimension of the experience, and just showing that this is another reality. I don't know where it is and what it is, but all the senses are fully available. The other thing that happened within in the same space is somebody passed me a lit joint, and I remember smelling it. I could smell the smoke. I could smell the terpenes. I had a draw off of it, and I could taste it. I could taste the strain. I was picking up flavors. And I don't recall ever having flavor and taste in a dream before either. So it was kind of two big senses really making themselves known in my dream this morning. So that was pretty interesting. So yeah, I think that's about all worth saying at this moment. Things continue to be intense energetically in the world. Schumann's sun cycle, solar max. We got massive earthquake activity and volcanic activity in multiple places now. I think it's just a matter of minutes to days before something fairly significant cracks off, and no doubt that will follow with social and political upheaval as well. It's all connected. I think if you look over solar maximum cycles in recorded history, you'll find a really interesting correlation of major social movement, major social change, wars, craziness, big things happen during solar maximum periods, and this time is no different. So if you think it's crazy, you're right now. It is. Things are off the hook. They're going at Mach 10, 1.21 gigawatts. Buckle up. You know what I'm saying? All right, folks. Enjoy the rest of your week, or the last of your week, or tomorrow. Hug a friend, hug a loved one, hug a pet, and do your best to be happy.
And don't fear the night time, nah, because the monsters know that you're divine.